Hello, people. This is going to be a video on rats. And when I say rats, what I'm talking about, why do certain people on YouTube seem to think that defending rats is in their interest? You know, people have to remember that these rats were part of mob families. Well, a majority of them were part of mob families. Then you have your ones that, were down the block and now they're pretending they were on mob families or in mob families. What you're seeing is these rats coming and they're picking who they feel they can infiltrate, who will put up for them, who will go out there and do the dirty work for them. Unfortunately, there are some content makers that just don't know any better and will defend these people. And some of these rats have done awful things, like murder women, murder men, murder other leaders of families, betray people before they even became rats. I mean, that's what they do. And then you have people that think that the most important thing is to be friends with these people. You know what? Am I guilty for associating with them in the beginning? Yes. Did I learn my lesson? Yes. What did I learn mostly about that? All these rats in general, they're full of crap and they will stick you in the back just like it's nothing. And you know why? That's part of their nature. That's what they do. They say, oh, I ratted because I didn't want to go to jail and I wanted to see my kids, but they don't talk about the other 50, 60 people they sent to prison. Maybe it's even one guy they sent to prison. But does it matter? They are what they are. They're rats. They don't deserve protection. They don't deserve protection by other content makers who know no better. It's like they want to be around celebrities. So what they're going to do, they're going to protect them. If you listen to Justice Tech Pro, he says it best, that they're vicious and vile and they will turn on you and they will do anything to destroy you if you get in their way. But you have to have the guts to stand up to them. What do you do when a bully comes to the schoolyard and smacks you? You smack them back, you don't back up, and you keep doing what you're doing. But that's not the case here. We've seen recently rats coming out of the net, out of everywhere. I mean, there's so many rats on YouTube now. More and more of them are coming. You know why they're coming here? Because they know there's weak people that will accept them into their community, that will defend them, that will believe everything they say. They tell you, oh, I met with this one. John Gotti was a friend of mine. Or Sammy Gravano, who's a rat, but at least he's a rat that has a reputation. Most of these rats have no reputation, people. None. And yet you'll have people standing up for them. It's kind of pathetic. We've even witnessed one person that used to be anti-rat totally flipped the script. Just like that. Gave away everything he believes in and now has all the rats in the world on his channel. They love to run there. And then you have guys, this is the worst guys that hang around real guys that didn't rat, but yet they're on all these channels with the rats. Yeah, and these people know who they are. So, you could be in Las Vegas and be around a good guy who doesn't rat, it was a part of a family, had a high rank, and then you're associating with channels that have rats on them. You can't make this up, people. These are men that so badly, they were on the fringes. They so badly wanted to be in the mob, these guys on the fringes. Now they associate with rats. And people say, oh, well, how do you know what you would do? But the fact of the matter is, don't put yourself in that position, then you don't have to worry about what you would do. These guys put themselves in that position. They committed a murder. They're part of a murder. So they give everybody up. Oh, you're a boss and you send people out to kill. And what do? You rat on the people that you send out to kill. And the government, they love it. The first person that comes to the government and says, I want a rat. You could be a leader of a family. You can be an underboss. You could be a guy in the street. the first person that raises his hand and says, me, they'll make into a rat. And then they'll let these rats out. And what do these rats do? They commit crimes on the street. Tons of crimes. Beating women, robbery, murder. They do it. And then when they get arrested, say by the local police, the feds swoop right in and say, well, we'll take care of this. And they take them away. And half the time, those rats do not get charged with any of the crimes that they did because the feds protect them. And, you know, I never really thought about this before I started on YouTube with rats. But the more you deal with them, the more you come across them, you realize how pathetic they usually are as human beings. They don't have it in their DNA to be men or tough. And then they blame everybody for what they've done. Very few rats come on here and say, I'm a rat, I'm a scumbag, I deserve whatever I get. No excuses. Maybe Mikey Scars does. I mean, he's actually an example of what a rat should do. Personally, the number one thing a rat should do is not even come on here. But if you're going to come on here, say, look, I was a fucking scumbag, I gave up my friends, and I deserve whatever happens to me down the road. It seems like Mikey Scars is that one guy out of like 30 of them that will do that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sticking up for Mikey Scars. Mikey Scars sent a lot of guys to prison. But at least he talks about what a scumbag he is. You got these other guys. You got one guy. He goes, oh, well, I had to turn the boss in because he had my friend killed. No, you were on the staircase in front of a doorway and a woman was shot. Talk about that. That's number one priority with you, my man. Not your friend was shot. Your friend was a scumbag. He was a murderer. He had 3 or 4 bodies. Then you have other guys. You have a guy up in the New England area that killed a boss. And what did he do? He ratted on the people that he sent out to commit crimes. He sent these guys out. And then they got to prison. They refused to rat on him. So what he did is he ratted on them. These are men still in prison to this day that refused to rat for this man. But yet this man ratted them out. That's what type of men these guys are. And then they'll make up stories, fairy tales. They'll write books about everything they did and who they worked for, what family they knew. And 99% of the book is bullshit. Or then you'll have someone clever like John A. Light who did a book and put the Gotti name on it. And I'm sure it wasn't his idea. It was probably the people that wrote the book and their marketing team that did that. This is what they all are. There's no reason to accept them in. And those people that accept them in, that make excuses, well, you know, the mob, they were killing people and all that. Shame on you. Shame on you. Because, you know, you guys, if you guys were here and there were no rats in this genre, just say that the Fed said, you're not allowed to be in here, but you're ratted. One of the agreements of your release is that you cannot go on any social networking, especially podcasting or YouTube. Say they weren't on here. None of these guys would know nothing about rats. They wouldn't defend them. But now they want to pretend they know all about them. They don't want to think. Then you could say to those people, well, you know, those rats sent just rats back to prison. That's not true. There's a lot of innocent people in prison because of rats. People that could be in the same room. And because of the RICO Act, they wound up getting 25 years for having a cup of coffee sitting across from somebody in a social club. And these are all things that when I started here, I did not know. And now I do know these things. And the more you learn about it, it's when you start testing your character as a man or a woman. Do you want to be any part of these guys? Do you want them, like, they come on and start telling their tall tales, how tough they are, what they've done, and who they are, and who they've been around. But in the street, they were nothing. The majority of these guys were nothing. Sure, you'll get the guys like Gravano and Francis and guys like that, Scars, but then you'll get the other guys like A-Light and Barillo and those other clowns that were nothing in the streets. Or they were fringe. Drug dealers. Killing people from behind. Never fighting nobody face to face. Hitting them in the back of the legs with bats. They were the ultimate cowards. And yet, it seems like the worst people, the people that with the worst behavior, are the other content creators in here who pretend that it's okay to support these guys. They think it's okay, like, and then they'll make excuses. They love making excuses, these content creators. They'll go, well, John Gotti destroyed the mob. Yeah, John Gotti may have hurt the family without a doubt, but he still went to prison, not like Gravano, who went to prison for 5 years, got out, committed a bunch of crimes, went back to prison for 18 years and is out again. And YouTube is his new scam. It's the scam of Michael Francis. YouTube has saved them. It's their new gang world where they can make tons of money and 90% of what they say is bullshit. That's what this has become, people. The mob genre. I remember a year and a half ago when I started this, it was totally different. Totally different. You had on one side, you had John A-Light and a couple other guys. Then on the other side, you had guys that were like calling them out. And so now the guys that were calling them out are their buddies now. They hang out, they chat. You know, they're in their chats talking all the time. It's gotten to this level. They'll talk about their shows and say, oh, please go watch this show of the rats. You know, you got some solid guys in prison, guys that are murderers, guys that are killers. Some of these guys belong in prison, but there's some pussy that acts like a tough guy on the outside. They think they're still mobsters. They walk around their neighborhoods like they're still mobsters. And those are the guys that put those tough guys away. And eventually you'll get your Frankie Pasquale that will go back to what he does, being a thief, a crook, and a bully. And being a thief and a crook is one thing, but being a bully is another. You just have people in their DNA that are thieves and crooks or survive that way. But then you got these bullies like Pasquale, and look what happened with him. Chokes out his son, goes back to prison. Then you got Panisi, punches a woman in the mouth, doesn't go back to prison. You got A-Light, hits a woman, doesn't go back to prison. God knows what these other mobsters do that a lot of their women don't pick up the phone and call the cops. Because it's in their DNA to be rats and woman abusers. I believe that if you're a rat, the chances are that you're somewhat of a woman abuser sometime in your life because you're a coward. And that's what cowards do. They hit women and they rat. And I wasn't going to even talk about this. I wanted to, you know, sit here and do a short video on this. And I said, you know what? I'm watching all this stupid shit online and all these people coming into these chats and they go, oh, there's Frank Fortolino. Oh, he was the man back in the day. No, he was a rat. There's Jimmy Calandra. He's the man. No, he was a rat. You can go on and on and on. Then you got guys like Mike DeBella that come in and they say, hey guys, how you doing? I'll donate you $50 to a channel that supports rats. And then he talks about what an upstanding guy he is. You can't make these things up, people. You know, I'm going to do Every week, I'm going to do one video about 15 minutes long and talk about rats. Dedicate my 15 minutes to these slime bags because they're going to be here. They're coming in full force and they know where to go. They know where to go for cover. They know who has rats around them. They know who will protect them. They go for the weak people. And you know something, at one time, I was kind of weak. I was kind of fascinated with them. And then when they started doing the things they do, and then you're looking at them saying, wow, why would you do that? You know, that's Polly in the background. She hates rats too. You hear that? People, just leave me your thoughts underneath this video. What do you think about what I'm talking about? What do you think about rats? The guy Al Capone behind me did his time. He didn't rat, and he got out of prison a dying man. Lucky Luciano, same thing. They sent him to another country. Didn't rat. Frank Costello didn't rat. But yet you have nothing but these rats, and most of them were low-level rats with a few real guys thrown in. Please sub to this channel. Please leave me your opinion. Guys, take care. Thank you.